Item number, SCP-315. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. Object does not require any special storage arrangements. However, it is currently kept in an opaque cardboard box, away from strong light or heat sources, under the assumption that this will slow the natural decay of any stored data on the object. Description: Object consists of a set of 95 standard 8.5 GB recordable DVD format discs, arranged in a stack on a black plastic spindle. Examination of the label side of each disc reveals no manufacturer's name. Printed into each matte label is the title POC 1/1. Beneath this, each disc carries a unique symbol or glyph. No two discs carry the same symbol. On examination of the data side of the disc, it can be seen that each disc has already been fully written with data. Placing the disc into a computer or DVD player reveals that it is a standard encoded video disc. Playing the disc results in one of two effects, depending on whether it is a previously watched disc or an unwatched one. If an unwatched disc is played in a DVD player, the video begins. The scene displayed is a well-furnished living room with a chair in the center. Sitting in the chair is a Caucasian male, SCP-315-1, appearing to be around 40 years old. SCP-315-1 will then demonstrate the ability to react to and converse with anyone watching the video feed. SCP-315-1 will respond to any questions put to him, appears to be able to see the environment outside of the video screen, and appears to enjoy discussions and debates with viewers. If a disc that has already been viewed is viewed again, the disc will simply repeat the footage that was seen the first time. SCP-315-1 will not react to viewers' actions, nor deviate at all from the previous viewing. A disc, once played, always contains the same footage, regardless of who is watching it. The only way to communicate with SCP-315-1 is to insert a disc that has never been watched. Given that there are 95 discs, each containing 3 hours of video, it follows that SCP-315-1 has an effective lifespan of 285 hours, or 11.8 days, not including footage that has already been watched. It should also be noted that SCP-315 is not the complete set of discs. 5 others are known to exist. It is known that all missing discs have already been fully viewed. SCP-315-1 is cognizant of the nature of his own existence. When questioned, he is aware that he is being displayed on a television screen or monitor and can reliably identify the type, size, and color of the device on which he is shown. When directly asked about his specific nature, however, SCP-315-1 will not give a straight answer, preferring to draw the viewer into a discussion or debate. It is not clear whether SCP-315-1 is withholding information about his origin, or whether he is uncertain himself. He claims the former, stating that to tell us everything would spoil the game. He neither demonstrates nor admits to any unhappiness with his situation, nor his short lifespan. SCP-315-1 retains memory between discs. If one viewer interacts with an unwatched disc, then switches to another disc, SCP-315-1 will recognize the viewer and refer to a previous conversation. SCP-315-1 has even shown signs of developing a rapport and friendship with those researchers who have spent a lot of time talking with him. Attached, Document 315-A, a collection of relevant excerpts from interviews with SCP-315-1. Recommended reading for familiarization with this subject. Document 315-A, Interview Logs, a collection of excerpts from interviews with SCP-315-1. Interviewed, SCP-315-1. Interviewer, Dr. Forward, primary examination of SCP-315, discovery of SCP-315-1. Disk watched, 1, glyph, data expunged, begin log.
This is Dr. Preliminary investigation for possible classification of 315. Subject looks to be just a regular stack of DVDs. I'm going to take the first one and investigate it on a detached computer. Let's get a close-up on that symbol. Can you see that? It looks like...
Data expunged.
Oh, it's a video disc. I'll just play it.
15 seconds of silence.
It's just a man sitting there.
Hello?
Oh, he's talking.
Yes, I am.
What?
I am talking. You're right.
End log. Interviewed SCP-315-1. Interviewer, Dr. Disk watched, 4. Glyph, data expunged. Begin log.
Can you remember what we talked about last time?
Last time? On the last disc, you mean?
That's what I meant, yes. Is that how you measure time, per disk?
No, not really. I measure it in minutes, same as you.
Can you tell me what the time is now where you are?
Sure, it's on...
Redacted times were consistent with actual time of interview. End log. Interviewed SCP-315-1. Interviewer, Dr. Forward. Dr. First assigned to project. Given goal of establishing a psychological profile of SCP-315-1 and to determine, if possible, its origin and nature. Disk watched. 7. Glyph. Data expunged. Begin log.
Well then, try coming at it from a different angle.
Like what?
Well, for example, let's say that there's nothing at all paranormal or unusual about these discs. Let's say that they're ordinary DVDs with ordinary unchanging video data on them.
Well, the video data does change.
Does it?
Yeah. When I talk, you know what I've said and make a relevant answer. When we play the disc again, it's that same answer, so it's permanently changed.
My point is that you can't tell it's changed if you don't know what was on it before. It could be that the disc always had that answer on it.
That's impossible.
Huh? Says the Foundation employee to the SCP.
For that to work and for the discs to all be pre-recorded, you'd have to know what I was going to say and do exactly years before I did it.
I suppose I would. I'd need to be a pretty decent psychic and clairvoyant, though, or have some kind of future extrapolation device. That would be improbable, but not impossible from a mathematical standpoint.
Sufficiently improbable that I'd sooner believe the impossible.
Or how about this? I could be from the future. I know what you're going to say because I have the records you're making and can respond accordingly.
That makes no sense at all. It'd be unimaginably paradoxical.
Yeah, you're right, actually. The other problem, of course, is that I have very little motive to record 10 or so days worth of video just to screw with some SCP employee.
So we've made no progress whatsoever.
Well, that's not entirely true. You've got some more ideas in your head about how these DVDs work, whether they're right or wrong. You have some new things to try and disprove.
End log. Interviewed SCP-315-1. Interviewer, Dr. Forward, Dr. 4th 3-hour conversation with SCP-315-1. Disk watched, 11. Glyph, data expunged. Begin log.
I wonder what would happen if you were to throw one of the discs away.
You wonder, I'll bet you know exactly what happens.
Maybe I do, and maybe I don't. It doesn't matter anyway. I'm just wondering how you'd react to it.
What do you mean?
Well, I was just thinking about our little discussions about what these discs are. Whether I'm really a conscious entity with an unusual way of existing, or whether you're talking to an impossible tape recording.
So you're saying I couldn't throw a disc away because it might be needlessly shortening the lifespan of a living thing?
Haha. No, I mean it the other way. You couldn't throw a disc away because it might be a prediction. You'd have to know if the prediction was accurate. Whether the person who recorded the disc knew that you would throw one away and knew exactly which one. And then, once you'd exhausted all the other discs, you'd have to find the last one. Because if they knew one disc was going to be discarded, mightn't that be the one they recorded an answer on?
Make your choice, adventurous stranger. Strike the bell and bide the danger. Or wonder, till it drives you mad, what would have followed if you had.
Sounds about right.
I still don't believe your pre-recorded bullshit, by the way. It'd be easy for you to prove it, and I know you'd love to lord it over me.
I've got a comeback, Doctor, but it's the end of the disc.
End log. Interviewed SCP-315-1. Interviewer, Dr. Presumed, Forward. If presumption accurate, Dr. 17th conversation with SCP-315-1. Conducted approximately 14 years after her 16th conversation, and 8 months after most recent conversation conducted by any Foundation personnel. Only SCP-315-1's part of the conversation is currently available. If you have any further information regarding this interview, alert your immediate supervisor at once. Disk watched, 36. Glyph, data expunged.
Oh, hello, Doctor. It's been quite a spell. You too. Quite strange to see you older. You've aged well, if that's not impolite. Well, it would be strange if I had.
Shrugs.
Would it? I think either way you wouldn't have any new answers. Is that why you're here? New theory you want to talk about? I see. We did seem to have reached the limits of useful progress in the last couple of discs. Or at least I sensed that you felt that way. Is that why you stopped coming to see me? Oh no, none taken. That's not what I meant to imply. I didn't feel slighted. I couldn't. Time hasn't passed for me in the same way. As you observe. Well, sort of. It's a little hard to describe, actually. There isn't a gap for me between discs, so to speak, but it's not a continuous conversation either. It can't be, because... Yep, exactly. Glad to see you haven't lost a step. I know it's been some time. I remember our last conversation as if it were recent. I haven't been consciously waiting here for years if that's what worries you. But I'm aware of the gap, post hoc. I don't know if I can describe the experience to someone who doesn't manifest that way. I imagine you'd find it contradictory and uncomfortable. No, the experience. Ha ha ha. Looks like you did forget how annoying I am. Okay, just so that I say it without any distraction. It is nice to see you again. Sincerely. So, what is it we're talking about today? If not further analysis. Well, I'm aware of some of it. Honestly, I don't get a lot of attention anymore, but every so often someone will come and consult me about something. Mostly about things you'd call info hazards, which you really should know better than to... No, not you specifically. The Foundation. There's a disk that they had to incinerate because someone asked about... And since then I always warn new viewers not to discuss anything like that. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. I don't know. They just read my file and get the idea that my properties might solve a problem they're having, I suppose. You can see the logic. Oh, not all that many. Just over 3 disks, I think, in short sections. Plus the incinerated disk, which I don't know anything about or can't know anything about. No, usually I'd remember. This is one of the few times you'll ever hear me say this, so relish the moment. I have absolutely no idea. I'd love to know, but unlike some of your researchers, I'm not reckless enough to want to actually investigate. It's an info hazard. I'm just matching your energy, Doctor. You're not as inquisitive as usual. Or as you used to be, I suppose. You still Yeah, I understand. That has actually been on my mind as well. Yes. Well, as I said, since you and I last talked, I've had several visitors, about 2 dozen. And, well, you know me, I like to talk. I enjoy the discussions. You and I used to spend whole discs exploring philosophical rabbit holes and... Ha 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 ha. That's very flattering. No, there was nothing anomalous about it. Just good conversation, if I do say so myself. Well, you get just as much credit for that, but you know, that's the thing. You and me, great. Had some good discussions with the researchers who came before you too. But since then, no matter how hard I try to engage, nothing. Some researcher I've never seen before pops up, asks a couple of questions about, I don't know, a fantasy-themed amusement park located in Fountain Ferry, New Hampshire, or some similarly impossible object, and then shuts off the player. I was getting worried that someone had changed the containment protocols to discourage anyone from talking to me. I mean, not that it's all that possible for me to be lonely, given that I can't logically be alone, but it is a little diminishing. Oh, no, not really. Just an example. It's a park in New Hampshire called the Fountain Ferry Enchanted Village, with animatronic fairy tale figures and live performers in costumes. It's good fun for children and adults alike. Don't know why they brought it to me, really. I don't see why I'd be any help, but it's a good example of my point in that, well, it's an interesting little curio, isn't it? Intriguingly impossible, strange in effect, inscrutable in purpose, if it has any purpose. Exactly. See, that's why we get along so well. All sorts of interesting questions there. I bet we could get a good, edifying hour or 2 out of that. Tried to engage the other doctor, could barely get a grunt out of him. Dr. Well, okay, sure, but it's not just him, it's all of you. Just no interest anymore. Makes one feel, I don't know, outmoded? Passé? Envious? Jealousy is coveting something you already have. No, don't worry, common mistake. Ha! There's that smile. There's life in you yet, Doctor, and envy isn't the right word. It's a disappointment. I admit that possibly there's a little ego involved. Like I said, I'm matching energy here. I mean, all I can really do is talk. I try to make that productive, which means engaging you on your own terms. Sitting here in awkward silence is a little more wasteful for me than it is for you. Well, previously you've been inquisitive, investigative. Now you seem a little bit more, I don't know, pensive. There's something on your mind, but you're avoiding saying why you're here. I'm hoping that sharing something on my mind will make you more comfortable in sharing what's on yours. No, not really. But, I mean, what is real in my particular case? Alright, sure, it's... Okay, so you know on the label of these discs where it says POC? Did you ever figure out what that meant?
Laugh.
That would be a bit of a mislabeling. That's fair. You want me to tell you? Of course I know. It stands for Proof of Concept, 1 of 1. This set of discs comprises the production run, as it were.
Shakes head, waves hand.
No. That's a whole other discussion. Forget I said it. That's not the point. What I'm getting at is, obviously someone had to make these discs. There are plenty of SCPs that spring up naturally, or supernaturally. But ghosts and fairies don't generally do a lot of digital media production, right? So someone with a relatively technical background produced these discs, and as the label implies, this particular set was the proof of concept. Well, exactly. What indeed? No, I'm not. I mean, maybe we can do that later, but for once I'm asking non-rhetorically. Maybe, maybe not. That's not the point, though. Shush. No, shh. Look, shush and listen for a second. If these discs are a proof of concept, if I'm a proof of concept, well, firstly, wow, that's a pretty amazing concept they proved, whatever the specific purpose is and whoever they are. But then what happened? Briefly, not even half the discs. And then I got classified safe, put in a box, shoved in a closet, and mostly forgotten about. You know what I mean, right? How can something so impossible have meant so little? I understand that, yes. I caught little snippets in conversations. I know what it is you all do. The kinds of thing you ended up dealing with. You outgrew me. That's only natural. But look at this place, though. This isn't the room we used to interview in. There's a discolored tile up there where the rain got in. That AC unit doesn't look like it works. The door isn't even locked. Is this the same building?
Expression of disappointment.
Safe storage. That's as the name implies? A retirement home for boring SCPs. I know. I'm just taking a moment. In any other world, these discs would be really special, really interesting. There would be people desperate to figure out how they worked, what they were for, what I am. I mean, not even another world. It used to be like that here. Now it's apocalypses, catastrophes, strange wars that end by retroactively not happening. The world got so much bigger. If the Foundation picked me up today, I doubt I'd even get a number. No, of course not, and no desire to be. I'm really not up to anything malicious, you know? I could be lying about that, obviously, but I'm not. There was this moment of excitement where we felt like I was important. And I was kind of important in a small way. And then you all just discovered 10,000 more interesting things, and now it doesn't feel likely that half of this set will ever even get played. Oh, no, of course. Forgive me if I seem a little maudlin. I'm not really. That's not how I work. I wanted to make the observation, in case I do go back on the shelf and don't get brought out again. Because it looks like this proof of concept ended up going nowhere. If this is all it turned out to be, that's fine. But I'm saying this now so that the statement exists and someone heard it. I agree, it's vague. I can't quite figure out what I want to say. It feels unbecoming if one day I have some random conversation with some random researcher, get put away, and then completely arbitrarily it turns out that that's the end of my interaction with the world. So, yeah, that's it. That's what I want to say. I acknowledge the ending. Incepiet perfeci. Oh no, not at all. I'm always delighted to talk with you, Doctor. Honestly, anytime you like. No, that doesn't matter. There's a reason these discs aren't sequentially numbered. Whatever the last actual conversation is, I'm satisfied that it's been said. Well, you have to understand. It's been more than a decade for you. From my perspective, interest tailed off a bit more quickly. Dunno, you can put me away if you'd like. I'm still interested to hear what you came back to talk about, though, if there is anything. See? Told you I'm good conversation. I didn't know. I suspected.
Shrugs.
I know you well enough. Thought about you a bit when I was talking to other researchers. Wondered how you were getting along with all of the new stuff. Or if you were still here. I did ask a couple of the researchers to pass on my regards. I suppose they didn't think it was important. Well, I don't know about that. You're the person I've talked with the most, though. Well, thank you for saying it. I try to be friendly with everyone, but I wouldn't presume. My interpersonal relationships are definitionally strange. Oh, I thought it was implicit. Yes, I agree. We're friends. You could call more often. Well, if you don't worry too much about it. I'm not technically capable of missing you. Anyway, what were you saying? Yeah, I know what you mean. That's why I suspected. Same wavelength, you know. I don't know. I don't think I'm the right person to ask. I imagine the Foundation doesn't make that easy, or maybe they do. You'd know better than me. How does a retirement process work when you know as much as you do? I'd probably be suspicious. There might be options, though. Amnestics, that sort of thing. Or maybe it is just, you know, very possible. Again, I have no information to help with that. It's very you, though. Very younger you, anyway. Very impulsive. I don't know if you're like that still. Could work, though, or you could just fake something. I mean, I imagine it happens for real a lot. Would I? Interesting question. I don't really have a strong desire either way. Wherever I go, there I am, if you see what I mean. It's the same. No, I wouldn't want to put you in danger. Thank you for considering it, though. Look, don't do anything silly. I told you, it's not the same for me as... No. What would I even be able to do? Reach out of the screen and stop you? Maybe. You don't know.
Waves fingers toward camera.
Woo-oo. Look, calm down for a second. Sit down. Sit. Put those back. Don't. Would you sit down for God's sake? I want to go on record and say this is a terrible idea. I mean, I love it. I support it, and good luck, but you're an idiot. Oh, trust me, I believe it. I literally can't do anything else. Honestly, though, I'm rooting for you, one way or another. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Raises voice.
Come back, you need to— Nope, there she goes. Huh.
SCP-315-1 looks around, expression uncertain.
Well, now what?
SCP-315-1 sits in the chair for approximately 6 minutes, occasionally fidgeting.
Oh, the hell with it.
SCP-315-1 stands up and walks out of frame, does not appear again for remainder of disk. End log. Addendum 315-01. Experimented to see how SCP-315-1 responds to basic video playback functions. Pause. Entire scene paused, including SCP-315-1. When resumed, SCP-315-1 was able to tell that he had been paused. SCP-315-1 then demonstrated the ability to respond, when resumed, to questions that had been asked during pause. Rewind, entire scene rewound, including SCP-315-1. When resumed, DVD played back SCP-315-1's side of previous discussion. SCP-315-1 did not respond to questioning until video had once again reached the furthest watched point. He then resumed normal conversation and requested not to be rewound again. Fast forward, whole scene fast forwarded, including SCP-315-1, who sat still during sped up play. SCP-315-1 picked up conversation immediately afterward and requested not to be fast forwarded again. Slow forward. SCP-315-1 was able to react to conversation during slow play, but was slowed down himself. When normal playback resumed, he identified that he had been in slow motion, but noted that it made no perceivable difference to him. Addendum 315-02. Attempted to copy one of the unwatched DVDs. Was unsuccessful. Disc contains some form of copy protection that nobody seems to be able to break. SCP-315-1 showed awareness of this attempt when next consulted and made reference to cheating. Addendum 315-03. SCP-315-1 made reference to discs possibly being pre-recorded. To attempt to disprove, played a disc out of sequence. That is, played a disc from the middle of the pile rather than in the top to bottom order previously used. No apparent effect. SCP-315-1 was still able to tell the current real-world time conversed normally, complimented researcher on Guile. Addendum 315-04. Further attempt to prove or disprove pre-recording theory. A pseudo-random number generator was used. Displayed number to television screen. SCP-315-1 was able to read out the number. If video is pre-recorded, the algorithm used for event prediction is almost impossibly accurate. Seems far more likely that effect is due to some paranormal phenomenon in the discs themselves, although further suggestions to try and prove either hypothesis are encouraged. Dr. note, I don't like this conclusion at all. Without the ability to copy the disc, though, I can think of no way to prove either one hypothesis or the other. There are more important things to worry about at the Foundation, but this one keeps tugging at the back of my brain. Addendum 315-05. 2 DVD players set up in separate areas. 1 randomly selected unwatched DVD placed in each player. Both discs played simultaneously to 2 separate researchers. Each instance of SCP-315-1 engaged in a separate conversation with each researcher. Both instances also showed awareness of the other conversation, and were able to transfer a message from one researcher to another. Addendum 315-06. 2 DVD players set up in same room, played to 2 researchers sitting side by side. Dual instances of SCP-315-1, able to communicate both with researchers and with each other, creating a 4-way conversation. When asked whether they were 2 separate entities or one entity controlling both instances, the SCP-315-1s were either unable or unwilling to give an answer. Dr. note, this is driving me up the damn wall. I'm taking myself off this project for the moment. No psych evaluation required. I'm just getting stressed out trying to figure out how the damn discs work. Addendum 315-07. Experiment undertaken to disprove the hypothesis that discs are manufactured in the future based on SCP conversation records. An unwatched disk was placed in a player, watched by Dr. and logged by researcher. Researcher was asked to periodically record conversations incorrectly, logging fabricated questions and answers for both Dr. and SCP-315-1. All accurate records of the conversation, including the disk itself, were subsequently expunged, and experiment participants induced to forget which parts of the record were fabricated. Inaccurate reports filed away as normal. Results: SCP-315-1 continued normal conversation with the subject, giving no fabricated answers or statements inappropriate to actual conversation. Dr. note: couldn't stay away, but I at least have a decent reason for coming back. This proves that the disks are not scripted conversations of future origin, derived from our records. It's not a huge breakthrough, but God, am I glad to finally have disproved something.